Okay guys, welcome to what is to be the first video on the Swing Arm Moto YouTube channel. This is going to be probably the not most exciting video that we ever upload. This is more just to show a quick introduction as to what the channel is, what my bike is, although from this shot it's probably quite obvious. Just going to go into a bit of detail as to who I am, what my bike history is, the bike itself. Then probably going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do on the channel. To start, don't be expecting Matt Armstrong quality videos because they're not going to be that. For now, it's just going to be me getting used to using the sound equipment, the camera equipment, the lighting equipment, which is all behind you and you can't see. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me first. So just bear with, and hopefully we'll start putting out some watchable content as soon as possible. But for now, let's just skip right into the first part of the video and give you a brief introduction as to who I am. Let's start the video by talking a little bit about myself, although I'm sure that 90% of the people who are probably watching this first video know who I am anyway, so it's probably going to be falling on deaf ears. But just in case the YouTube algorithm decides to be nice to me on the first video, I'll give you a quick introduction to who I am. So my name's Harry. I'm from the town on the Thames Riviera, Southend-on-Sea. I'm sure most people who are either into their cars or their bike meets will know exactly where this is. And if you don't somehow, then all you have to do is, I think it was last year, that Sierra Codsworth that got seized for doing a burnout, just look that up and you'll find out where we are. So let's just talk a little bit about me and sort of outside of this YouTube channel. I usually work in the insurance industry in London, whilst not the most exciting, I quite enjoy. I quite like the analytical side of it, but that's neither here nor there. So I've recently found myself with a bit of spare time that was unforeseen and a bit of spare cash that was also unforeseen. So I thought, if I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do it? I've been looking at starting YouTube for a couple of years and never really got around to it. So now's the time. Bike history. This is now my fifth bike. It's been an eclectic past, to say the least. I'm sure a few of you will know what I mean by that, but I'll fill the rest of you in. I started in 2021, had a little KTM Duke 125 to sort of start me off and get me used to riding bikes because I didn't have any experience prior to that. I loved that little bike. Great, super light, super agile, slow as anything, but it's kind of what I needed. Then moved straight from that to an R6, an absolute animal of a bike. The fact that you had to get it above 10k really before it actually went anywhere was an animal to ride, but it was fantastic. Unfortunately, had an accident on that one. Didn't write the bike off, but did have to have some body work done to it to get it back looking pretty. Sold that, I think that was maybe the start of 23, and then moved straight to an 899 Panigale, which has always been my dream motorbike. You know, you see Ducatis are the poster bike, aren't they? They're Italian, they're badly made, they're noisy, they're hot, but they're a Ducati. And that's exactly what I wanted. So I got the 899 V2, really good bike. Absolutely loved it. Didn't sound the best, but it went like the clappers, and it just looked absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, again, there's a bit of a theme. I had an accident on that one. This one was a bit more severe, and the bike was written off this time to a Cat B, so that was never seen the road again. And after that, I decided to give myself 6 months off because I thought 2 accidents in a year probably isn't good omens for going forward. So I think about 6 months before I bought my GSXR, it was 2014 Ninja, the 636. And that bike was okay. Yeah, it's a Ninja and everyone knows it's a Ninja and it's quick, but I never fell in love with it. It was never a bike that I thought I would keep forever or really was sort of on my list to ever own. So while I had it for nearly a year, I sold it earlier this year, and I've sort of been with the bike for about 4 months now. And then saw this come up for sale. It was all the way up in Derby, so it was a bit of a trek to get to. And I'd kind of been on the fence about buying one of these anyway, because if you're into your bikes, you know exactly the reputation that these bikes have there. Their owners precede them, and most of the time it's probably well deserved, but don't let that stop you getting one. The image these bikes have is unfortunate because this bike is brilliant. This is a 750 version, so it's on the 600 frame, but it's got that slightly bigger engine that you want. And a quick tip, if you don't really know how to tell them apart without looking at the numbers on the back, if you look at the forks at the front, on the 600s they'll be silver, and on the 750s they're gold, so it's a clear indicator straight away, so you know what bike it is. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and the fact that it is a GSXR. These bikes have a reputation, we're all aware of it. Is it more to do with their owners? Probably, because my time on the bike is that it is phenomenal. The lowdown torque, the noise, the handling, the stability, it is above everything else that I've driven so far. Maybe that's more me getting better on a bike and having a bit more experience and knowing how to use it better. But this is just brilliant. And I think the fact that a lot of people are put off buying these because of the reputation, and I know that because I was one of those people, isn't fair on it, because it is simply brilliant. I know there are probably a couple of you that are on the fence about owning these, because I see a lot of posts about, oh, do I go for a 600, do I go for a 750, or do I wait for the 1000? The 750 is a nice middle ground. On English roads, you're never going to need 1000. Yeah, it's cool to say I've got an S1000 RR, or yes, I've got an R1M, but there's not really any way you can use it. The roads are full of potholes, full of people driving Peugeots. Maniac. Which is just a recipe for death. So a 750 is a nice in between, I think. And from what I can tell you is that the power of it, there's not much that's going to get away from it. Maybe a 1290 Super Duke, because those things are monsters. But apart from that, I think this is a really nice middle ground. Okay, next, let's look at an area that I think is quite overlooked a lot. I know it was for me when I first started buying bikes. I just wanted to look at what made me look coolest and what had the biggest engine and the highest red line. And let's talk about handling. So the bike itself is on these Michelin Pilots. I've never ridden these before. I'm usually a Road 6 man, but when I bought the bike, these tyres were basically brand new. They've got tons and tons of tread left, super new tyres. I didn't see any point in replacing them. So stuck with them, might stick some Metzlers on in the future when these ones are dead, but for now, my experiences have been with these are so grippy. There's a couple of back roads near around where I live where we can sort of test these out and get a bit of a feel for it. And the tyres, together with the weight of the bike, brilliant. So light, so easy to chuck around. You can really chuck it in and out of corners. Unlike any of the other bikes I've owned like I have before. I don't know whether this is due to me progressing more as a rider or just me being more comfortable on the bike due to the size, but if you're like me and a bit vertically challenged, then maybe that lower seat height that the 750 offers you is one that you'll consider. Moving on to the exhaust system. Now this is the Yoshimura R11 end can. This is pretty much what majority of GSXR 750s have, and in my opinion for good reason. They look and sound the nuts. They're not too expensive, dependent on your budget. This is just the end can and I didn't pay for it, so it didn't really cost me anything. It has still got the standard cat on it and the standard headers, which do look a little bit worse for wear given the age of the bike. I will be replacing those at some point in the future. Again, that'll probably be another how-to video because it's quite a big job dropping all this off, and especially if you've got the secondary exhaust valve in there that you have to delete. But for now, I think it sounds great. Again, I know it sounds like I'm arse-licking the GSXR 750. It's because I am. I really like it. No issues with this exhaust. It's plenty loud. It looks the nuts, but we're still going to put the headers on it anyway. So that's going to do it for talking about the bike. I don't really have much else to say at this point. Like I said, we've got a few things that we need to change in the upcoming videos that will probably just be, again, a few more how-to videos, a few more instructional videos, just me of actually working on the bike before we get into any real content. And again, that's more just for me to get some experience as to how the editing software works, how the filming works, how I feel behind a camera, how I look behind a camera. Are the videos uncomfortable? I don't know. This will come up. Hopefully this isn't going to be the worst quality video you've seen since that video of that boy on the tractor overtaking his dad. I think we've all seen that, the classic. So hopefully it doesn't quite look that bad in post-production, and I'll try my best, but fingers crossed for something decent. And I guess next part of the video, we'll move on to talking about my sort of future aspirations for the channel and the direction that I see it going in. Okay, aspirations of the channel. For now, like I just previously said, it's just gonna be about me getting used to not being awkward in front of the camera and learning how to sort of, how my style of how I want to film these videos. So the next couple of videos, I've got a couple of issues that I want to sort out with the bike. There's an oil leak on the drive shaft seal that needs to be sorted. So probably gonna do a how-to video on that, make that nice and clear. Again, get some more practice before really moving into any deep, meaningful content. I've got a couple of ideas planned with some couple of friends, a couple of them who have never ridden bikes before. So that should be good fun if we get around to that. So fingers crossed we can sort of keep the momentum up and keep the channel going. My plan at the moment is to upload sort of once a week. I think that's a realistic expectation because these videos aren't going to be too in-depth. They're not going to have massive production quality. They're not going to have super high budgets. So for me, one video a week is a good amount. And hopefully I can sort of build on that experience as time goes. Okay, and with that, I think it's probably time to leave it there. I can't think of anything else I want to blabber on about. So I think for now, we'll leave it there. We'll take it to post-production. We'll see how it's going to look. We'll see that any mistakes I've no doubt made. And then we'll build in it in the next one. So thanks for all of those who stuck around to the end. I'm sure it was probably quite a painful watch. And if not, then that's a great bonus from the very beginning. So thanks very much, guys, for sticking around. If you want to subscribe already, I'd love to see that number go up. I know it's only at 4 at the moment, so anything above that is sort of a bonus on the first video. So yeah, thanks very much for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next one.